Happy Cinco de Mayo. When you think of Cinco de Mayo, you definitely think of Set the Edge. Have some chips and salsa. Pour that margarita. And we will talk about today our favorite sad sack, Kevin Love. Does Holly Wetzel believe in the Indians? Windians, 3 in a row. Oh, boy. Oh, poor. Oh, come on. Come on, Wetzel. Come on, Wetzel. Are the Oscars dead? And Believeland, Manny Blasdell, good to see you. And then everybody's favorite topic, the draft. That's Holly Wetzel there. I'm Andy Billman here. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Holly, do you get into Cinco de Mayo?
As I've gotten older, not really. I mean, it's like, what? It's on a Wednesday. I'm like, I got work. I got things to do. I go to bed early. Oh, God, Andy, last night I slept all night without waking up once.
Whoa.
That is such a rarity in general, right? For most people, I would hope that I'm not alone in that. But, that never happens for me. So if that's a great Cinco de Mayo, well, then fuck yeah, I'm having a great Cinco de Mayo because I got a great night of sleep leading into it. So, awesome. Let's do some shots, tequila shots. So who would you do a tequila shot with from the Cleveland Browns right now?
Ooh, man. God, I actually have a long list. Oh, man.
We did shots together last Friday.
Yes, we did. Let me grab my water. Yes, we did.
You looked at me at one point in the night. You go, I am drunk again. I am drunk again. And you're like, and I have to be up for a flight at 7 a.m. I almost got in a fight that night. It was quite the evening.
Oh my God, I forgot about that, Allison.
Oh God, you just named her. Jesus Christ.
She's not watching.
We edit that out.
Burp. Harold Ramirez is the MVP. Damien, we'll get to you in a second. We got to repeat, but yes, Jason Lloyd, Jared Watson for the show. We got a little toasty, and so to repeat for anybody, I don't celebrate St. Patrick's Day or Cinco de Mayo, so I've only had 1 or 2 St. Patrick's Day experiences, 1 or 2 Cinco de Mayo experiences. EJ Scalata. I just smashed on Hot Heads burritos that I'm drinking. There you go. Great Lakes mix. Oh,
I like
Mexican
it.
Lager.
I like it, EJ. College, right? College, sure. Any excuse to drink. Obviously, there was never any real excuse.
Oh, there was never.
Any of those days. Yeah, St. Patrick's Day, Cinco de Mayo for sure. But I did buy this marinated chicken breast. This I don't even know what it's called, from Trader Joe's. And I made that tonight. Made some tacos. So on whole wheat, carb savvy fucking wheat wraps, because that's an adult, an adult thing these days. Gotta keep everything.
Yeah. 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 We'll have to sprinkle in the stories from Friday throughout the show. But that was I was never more. I don't know how I got up at 4 a.m. I made my flight. I packed. I didn't leave anything back in the Airbnb.
I wondered. I was going to text you and be like, "Did you are you still in Cleveland?"
I made it.
I wouldn't have been surprised.
I made it, and then I made it to. I was on time for Cameron Billman's baseball game. I watched every inning. I purposely sat in the outfield alone with my chair. And I ran into Nicole, which was nice to see. And it was an interesting Saturday. And then I slept for 12 hours.
You are name dropping like crazy today.
It was good to see Nicole. We're doing coffee tomorrow.
Oh my God. Wow. Andy.
It's a full circle show.
Did I talk to you about anyone else today before we came on? I got to make sure that I didn't.
I'm sure she's not watching. Anyways, there's so much to talk about in the show, but now enough about our exciting lives and tequila and Fahrenheit. Look, let's go to the draft. The headline is rare sometimes for any city, any college. I don't want to limit this just to Cleveland. It's very, very rare when everybody's like, yeah, This team in an off season, not during the regular season, is much easier. When people are winning, it's much easier to get on the bandwagon. In the off season, it's very, very rare for most people to be like, God, I like this team. The Browns are certainly that team right now, Holly. They have all the momentum. You were there. Jared and I were there. Just to give some perspective quickly from my perspective of just being around the city, that was the first time since the pandemic where it didn't feel like we're in COVID. And it was just more than just celebrating and obviously drinking and eating or watching the draft. It was celebratory because of we knew how good the Browns were last year. I felt a little bit of it was celebrating the Pittsburgh win, to be honest with you, a tiny bit, and what is on the horizon. And what I found fascinating, which I put down in the rundown, everyone is not only feeling it for next year, the draft went well. I have never in my lifetime, Holly, this feels like the 90s Indians in 94, 95, 96. This feels like the LeBron coming back years. And it actually, those both feel like the same. These Browns have that vibe where it's like, we're going to big places. We already know it. Buckle up. It's exciting. And I don't think it's cocky. I just think it's proper confidence.
Yeah, I think that's a great way actually to put it. It is that it's not a cockiness, it's a confidence. And if you think about it through free agency and the draft, we're getting 11 key players, 11. That is, and you're going to see a lot of those guys, I think, on the field a lot when the season starts. I mean, look, we've been riding this high for the past, year or whatever, and just the craziest of crazy times. And, it's really hard to balance that level of super excited and giving all your trust and believe, like Super Bowl bound, next season, to also still taking a step back and like, well, wait, we still have a lot of work to do. I know that I think Stefanski this week in one of his interviews that he's done, it's like he's like, I'm moving on from last year, looking at this year, and you have to do that. I think we talked about this on Friday. I think one of my concerns is just, I should say this, we played so well as the underdog last year, that type of mentality. We had something to prove. We had that, that competitiveness behind us, that chip on the shoulder. We're not going to be in that spot anymore. I mean, we're going to have a lot of nationally televised games. We are going to be front and center. We are going to be criticized. I mean, it is, and Baker, he is going to be number one on all of that list. All eyes on Baker. So the pressure is just on, and I'm okay with that. I think it's finally, look, I like I said, I used to watch Sunday night, Monday Night Football and be like, I wonder what it's like to have a team like that, right? Like a team that belongs there, and we belong there now. So it's an awesome thing. You're right that the energy around the draft and the off season and being downtown throughout the draft, just seeing people out, there's a lot of excitement. And I think that the guys that Andrew Berry run in, I know we'll talk more about the guys that we drafted, they all seem very, very hungry. They all seem very, very competitive in nature. They seem willing to do whatever it takes. They're all very versatile. I just, that seems to be the general concise, whatever the fuck it is. Thanks for helping me out on that one.
Concise. It's a shot. I got my second shot today. Second shot to life.
I have no excuse.
No, it was concise. Here's the thing, and Jimmy Wetzel, friend of the show, Browns only team given an A+ draft grades by PFF, both 2020 and 2021. To what you're saying, Holly, and alluding to, and I agree with you, everyone's on the same plane. And that's why I'm saying it reminds me of the 90s Indians in the 14, 15, 16, 17 Cavs. After 17 kind of changed, but those 4 years. everyone has the same, they talk the same. They have the same vibe. When you listen to Kevin Stefanski today in KNR, he sounded very, very confident, but confident with a eye to, we have things to do. Time to get to work. Holly, when they build this team through the draft, it feels like it's for this year, but you can already feel, I feel like this is a 5-10 year run we're about ready to go through.
Yeah, look, we had a base. We finally had a base last year that we can build off of. I mean, that's the whole thing. It's not, we're not rebuilding again. I mean, and that word I'm so sick of hearing, but we're not doing it anymore. I mean, we're just in a whole different spot. And I'm so excited for it. It's like, finally we have this opportunity. I just hope we, capitalize on this. I'm still going to be just a little bit hesitant, our schedule gets a lot harder, and it, like I said, it goes back to that pressure. But I will say, if there is one person that had to go through extreme amount of pressure, first-year head coach, coming into a whole new situation, Kevin Stefanski proved over and over again last year just what he is capable of. And I think we were really just scratching the surface with him. And I know no one's perfect, and I know he's going to make mistakes, and he's going to have bad calls and all of that, but what he's instilled from the top, you've seen, it is a completely different type of feeling there, of camaraderie. It just is. It's a positive environment. It's an exciting environment. It's a hungry, eager environment.
It's growing. All these things keep growing. And to what you're saying, it's like everybody knows their role. And the one thing that I really like about this year's draft, and we'll go through it now, this year's draft, if Greg Newsome has an okay year, it's okay. There's other players around him who can help him out and step in and play. Mm-hmm. If this year JOK doesn't live up to expectations, it's okay. We're putting guys in. Anthony Schwartz, who I think is a very talented wide receiver out of Auburn.
Fast.
Very fast. Auburn couldn't fucking pass. Wait till I'm telling you, I watch a lot of Auburn. They're always on. They always play good teams. And I kept saying, I'm like, who is that? Remember, as soon as they drafted him, I'm like, I remember him. I'm like, that kid can play. He is a stud. But so again, is he starting? Nope. These are guys who can grow into the team. It reminds me of the 90s Indians, where it's like when we signed Eddie Murray, we signed Oral Hershiser, we signed Dennis Martinez. I'm like, this makes sense. We trade for Kevin Love. We'll get to him in a second. We made all these different trades for different people in the Cavs, and it's like, oh my gosh, J.R. Smith. It makes all these parts make sense. Mm-hmm. You sign a guy like Johnson, Hill, Walker's the linebacker. You add all parts on defense, and you add a speedy wide receiver. All these in it, and you add a tackle later. It's like, well, that makes sense. In 2 years, you're probably going to replace Conklin. All these things make sense. It just is so great to see. And from my experience, when Cleveland teams have been good, the Browns are following that path.
Yeah. It gives Joe Woods now has got to be like a kid in a candy store. I mean, this draft has given our defense major versatility. He's going to be able to switch it up. We're going to see different guys probably every week. We have a loaded bag, and I'm here for it. And going back to some of the picks, though, in particular, Greg Newsome, he did, he's done a couple interviews this week, but, the one thing about him that I keep hearing is that he is, going back to competitiveness, with this draft. He is extremely competitive. He's like, I don't care if it's a little kid playing him in a video game, like I'm winning. Like there's I hate losing, he's speaking of versatility, a super versatile player. Yes. He said one thing that really resonated with him with the Browns is that when he met with them back, I think in March, he said one of the things that Stefanski said, which is so Stefanski, is I'm looking for guys who's going to put their head down and work hard and do what they have to do. And that's so up here of Stefanski, of how I think his 30,000 foot view. And then also, I think another thing that Newsome said that really resonated with me was that he said, I'm just as good of a guy on the field as I am off the field. And he said, I want to do whatever I can for the Cleveland community. And he
There
wants
we
to be
go.
involved here. And it's just, he didn't have to say that. And I think that that's one thing. And he was like, what do you want Browns fans to know? And he's like, this is what I want them to know, that I'm going to be there on the field, off the field, whatever I can do for the city of Cleveland. And I just, so that got me so pumped because, you know, someone, again, he's this go back to that eager, can't wait to win, you know? So I'm super pumped to have him. And he's like, I'm going to compete. He's like, I'm going to be competing for that starter spot, you know, but you can never have enough cornerbacks. I'm with it.
I just think, Holly, you know, you asked me earlier who you want to have shots with. I guess at the end of the day, if you really think about it, it's like, God, there's not enough shots for the room. Like, I would love to talk to Newsom more. Anthony Schwartz went to a Cavs game, gave a wonderful tweet. I already love the city. We hate to admit it, but it means a lot to us Clevelanders when people say that. We love that. We love when people buy into it. And they are buying into it. The Target thing, you and I talked about that. We talked about that off and on Friday too. It's real. This team's ready for it. If they're ever going to do this, they're ready for. I think this team's very ready for it. I like the mojo. The one thing about this team too that showed again, and it became just another whatever. Andrew Berry's wife had a child the day of the draft.
Can you like that is so just if there's I'm like, yeah, God exists. Of course. Andrew Berry's wife had a kid on draft day. Like you can't even make
taking
that
pictures,
I mean,
tweeting it out. Unbelievable. I mean, just this whole team's mantra of just things come. They had like Stefanski said they had a plan in place in case Berry couldn't be there. I just love how this team is well thought out. They do talk a lot about hard work. They talk about expectations being real. This team is not afraid of the expectations. One thing that always bothered me about past Browns teams when we knew they stunk was that the acceptance of shitty, the acceptance of crappy. This team's not even accepting confidence and knowing that they're going to be on target. They are ready for it and wanting it. And that's a good sign. 2 years ago with Kitchens, the one thing that I felt trapped to was that they were just making noise. It was all about noise. This does not feel like noise to me. It feels like a collective community. And I'm going to tell you, it's going to, you know, we already know what, Holly, but I just have to say it. Cameron's talked about it. I'm sure your friends and your family's talked about it. I've got to get to a game next year. In fact, I've got to get like several games. Like I really want to go to multiple games. And the draft already got me more hyped into it. You can just feel the energy. It's just tremendous.
Yeah, it again, being downtown, I mean, I went on the worst of the worst weather days. Obviously I was down there on Thursday. And it was freezing in the rain. Like I don't understand that the sky had that much water in it. Like it doesn't make any sense. There was so much rain that fell constantly.
Yes.
So weather-wise, it was just terrible, but it didn't matter. I mean, people were out everywhere. You know, just I love Cleveland so much. People just like standing and just shouting that they hate the Steelers just for the hell of it. Like it's so, you know, and there's no Steelers fans around. There's just yelling at
Actually, there weren't.
You know what I mean?
There wasn't. In fact, you know what?
Wasn't that many, right? I didn't see
one. I saw lots of Jets fans. I even saw Jaguars fans.
I saw Bengals fans. I saw
Dolphins. I saw a lot of I saw Buccaneer. I never knew they're Buccaneer fans. They're Buccaneer fans. They're definitely Dolphins fans. Saw tons of Packer fans. Definitely ran into Cowboys. Definitely saw little Raiders. I didn't think about that till you said it. I didn't see any Steeler fans. Where are they? You guys don't want to? Not excited?
They're the worst grade in the draft. Their draft terrible.
I mean, hell, you don't have an offensive line. You don't draft anybody till the third round. Sounds like old Browns.
Next year with your grandpa quarterback, you know.
Yeah. Get that icy hot ready. Get it ready. Rub that
among
thigh.
other things. whatever he's got to do. Grandpa Ben coming in hot next year, I'm sure.
Get that yellow towel and put it around your head, brother. Look,
Yeah.
it is a fun time. The draft grades, I know your brother mentioned to Jim about the A+. I mean, everyone had an A. There's a couple Bs. Everybody's very high on the draft. If people picked apart the draft, it's only because they thought they needed a pass rusher. I say to that, you can always nitpick things like that. The one other thing I want to hit a little harder, though, I'm not saying it's a concern, but it's a reality. We talk about the reality of the target. You know, last year, and it's fine. Joe Woods got a pass. Joe Woods will not get a pass this year, Holly.
Oh, no.
You have to perform well. And the one thing that I want to really say
across the board, that's it, Andy. There are no excuses.
No excuses. No more Monday Night Football, Lamar Jackson standing on his head, making plays on the field. No.
I mean, if we do game, though. That was a good.
It was, but do that against the Steelers, Lamar, not against the Browns. I don't ever want to see that guy standing on his head, twirling around he was unbelievable that night. I just think that we all know that now. They also signed Malik McDowell. He is a guy who went to prison, has not played in NFL down. He got drafted in 2017, very highly regarded, is out of prison, clearly, back and rehabbed. I might surprise you. I don't have a problem with this. The guy went to jail. He spent this time. He's back now. I don't have a problem with this signing. I don't see it as a risk. Am I wrong?
Yeah. You want to talk about and maybe this isn't fair, but I'm like, well, what was the crime? Because domestic violence is one thing, and that's a big fat no. And I'll tell you, I was not high on the Kareem Hunt thing when we got him. Either. I was very skeptical, and I just thought, I don't want to be that team that we pick up these trouble players, just because they're good. And we went through that with, God, almost so many teams went through with Josh Gordon, but I just didn't want to have to go through this. And Kevin Stefanski was asked about that. I think Stefanski was. It was him or Barry, probably both. But one of the times I heard that they're like, look, we did our due diligence on him.
Yep.
He came for a workout in March. He made it very clear that he's wanted to turn his life around and has turned his life around this past year. He's ready to work. You want to believe the best. I don't like the fact of the narrative, of people making a mistake or two and them never being able to redeem themselves.
I agree.
We're in a society today that it's you make one mistake or something that you made back in your past forever ago, and you are completely blacklisted for it. And it's really, really sad, because that shouldn't be determining who you are. And especially when you have a talent like this. So I think, again, you want to trust in who's doing the due diligence, right? And I do trust Andrew Berry. I do trust the Browns, which is a crazy thing that I did not think I'd be saying in a long time, but I do.
Look how full circle you have come.
Right. So no, I think he's getting into a system that's going to be very positive for him. So, and he's going to have hopefully some good mentors, to help him through this. And I think maybe Kareem Hunt is one of those guys that's look, hey, we all make mistakes. I really screwed up. I had this.
That's a great point.
So I'm hoping that the culture that he's coming into, I think, is going to be probably one of the best ones that he could get into across all the teams.
I just think this team could handle it. I completely agree. It was not domestic violence. It was assault. There were some other things he did.
He stole a car or something.
Stole a car. And again, he went to prison. Guy went to jail for almost a year.
Time, 11 months. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a pretty full term. I just think this is I know people are criticizing it. I don't think that's right here. I think the guy served his time. He's cleaned up his act. He's obviously working hard. I agree with Holly. If you've been found guilty and you spend your time and you're out, hey, you're out.
Yeah. And it's okay to be a little skeptical. It's not
skeptical is fine. That's right.
Right. And be like, you know what? He has a lot to prove. Yes, of course he does.
He does. A lot to
prove. That's okay. Burning someone forever. And unfortunately, like I said, the society we live in these days, it's God forbid, so I am skeptical. I hope that he has changed. People, old habits die hard. he doesn't have to steal cars when he's out here. Hopefully, I mean, there's a lot of positive. He can drag race with the Browns players.
Holly can show you where to go. Holly can show you. She'll be out there in her jeans waving flags. But like, look, I'll just say this. I think Malik is a good signing. It makes a lot of sense. I completely agree with whatever I know there's criticisms, which is fine. I just thought it makes sense. Jim, again, I think JOK is going to be the Lamar stopper. I agree. I will also add Clowney. Clowney is always thought of as a pass rusher. He actually has stronger numbers against the run. And people need to remember that about Clowney. Clowney was brought in to help with the edge. And the Browns last year really had a hard time with edge, with guys who ran off the left, either tackle. The Browns they couldn't stop anything. Mm-hmm. So I think that will be a big part of this too. I agree with you about JOK. I'm a huge Irish fan. JOK is not as athletic as Troy Polamalu, but he has a lot of in him. Meaning he's a rover. He runs all over the field. Mm-hmm. And he really has an opportunity. And that fits what Joe Woods wants to do. He really isn't like, we have four linemen, 3 linebackers, 4 safeties, go. He's definitely like, he likes Stefanski. He likes to have guys who really rotate in and out, do different things, but make plays on the ball. I think the other thing too that I've been hearing from people, linebackers are too thin and they're not big enough. I don't think so. I don't see big, bulky linebackers anymore. I just don't. We don't see big dudes. We do on the front 4, but we don't see guys running around like Mike Singletary anymore. I just don't. Mm-hmm. Like even Vander Esch, the guy for the Cowboys who I actually liked, he just got cut. And he's a bigger guy. It's like you don't see those bigger guys anymore, big shoulder pads playing linebacker. So I agree with Jim. JOK is a winner. Every time Notre Dame made a big stop on defense, he was one of the players around the ball. And that's what you want on defense.
Yeah, he's definitely well, first of all, the heart issue thing is he's pretty amazing. He's been cleared. And he even said that he was pretty close to the vest about it, but he was like, I don't have any issues. Like, I don't, I'm fine. Like, there's, nothing to even be relatively concerned about at all. But, he seems super relentless. Yes. He's definitely got he calls it the 757 attitude, which is where he grew up in Virginia, which is where Allen Iverson is from, the same town, Michael Vick. So he's kind of he's like, I got that 757 mentality.
That Norfolk, not to interrupt you, that Norfolk Hampton area is really renowned. Michael Vick, you said it, Iverson, many very talented athletes come from that area. Anyways, yes. So that, he talked a lot about that. And he said, he's like, I'm ready to work. I'm committed. He said, and he goes, and I have a chip on my shoulder. And they asked, well, what kind of chip on your shoulder, right? Like, what's is it a bad or good? And he's like, he's like, my chip on my shoulder comes from the appreciation of the game and my experiences over time. And he said, it's, you can have a positive and negative type of chip on your shoulder. He's like, but that's what drives me. He says, this is what's been ingrained. He goes, and I just have such appreciation for the game and for football and appreciation and respect for my opponents. I mean, that type of mindset's super important too, to just have that type of, again, it's that culture. All of these guys, as time has gone on and we're learning about them, they're all fine. They're all lining up the way that it's making sense. The picks are making sense more and more. Makes sense. I'm going to repeat it. I know I've said it 3 times. It reminds me so many of these years where we watched the Indians win in the 90s. The Cavs in 14, 15, 16. And being fair, the Indians in modern day too. These moves make sense. And again, it's long term. I know these moves are made to win this year.
Yep.
I see JOK being here for a long time. I see Newsom being here for a long time.
What, you don't want to win next year with Aaron Rodgers?
Okay, let's get to him. Now, that's what they call a transition.
Yes.
There's been a lot of discussion, and here's what I will tell people. Vegas has odds. And as we all know, Vegas knows everything. I say that with tongue in cheek, but in truthfulness, Vegas usually has a sniff to what's going on. Now, for people, this was on, I think, Monday, so these odds might have changed. But okay, on Monday morning, here's the odds for where Aaron Rodgers might be going. Broncos 1 plus 500, bet 100 to win 500. Raiders plus 600, which I find interesting. Dolphins, Chargers. Chargers is bizarre. And then Browns and Saints. So the Browns are in the top 6. Now, I'm going to go into the different side of this opinion. I would choose Baker Mayfield, but I'm going to get into, because I love Baker, but I actually want to get to the other side. I am a big Aaron Rodgers supporter. I love how he flicks the ball. I love how he spins the ball. I think he's a winner. I think he's competitive. I must admit, this last turnabout with Rodgers has turned me off. I don't like how he handled this. I was very, very stunned how the Packers lost in the championship game against Tampa Bay. He had the team inside the 10 with a chance to get a touchdown. He couldn't do it. There's some other things I've seen from Rodgers that shows me he's slowing down. I'm back. I don't know where Wetzel is, but we'll find her. There's nothing more fun than internet troubles. But anyways, going to what I was trying to say. Yeah, hold on. Now she texts me. Yes, made it back. Anyways, going back to what I was trying to say, the whole thing with the Browns and expectations and everything else with Aaron Rodgers to say, "Oh, is that the last piece?" I believe in Baker Mayfield. Let me add now, Holly. Wetzel. Hello. It's Cinco de Mayo. Too much tequila for my internet. It was actually my internet today.
I was convinced it was mine. So this is
whatever. For how much we had such a great time, we're still kind of, getting back to normal. And I got a second shot, so we're all blaming all that. Point with Rodgers, though, is I know there's people who think you plug and play, you get him, you go to Super Bowl and you win. I'm just, the more and more I thought about it, the more and more his comments, I'm not hot on it at all. I'm not. If you would have told me 5 or 6 years ago, forget Baker, I'm like, oh, of course. But like, I love Baker, that's my number one. But all this other stuff, I don't know. I'm surprised how many people are chatting about this.
I think, look, it's always fun. I think people get so wrapped up in this stuff and they think like, oh my God, like how could you even talk about this? Like God forbid you can't have a enlightening type of conversation about whether or not this could be a thing, right? This is what you do.
Right.
But yeah, look, I sat there for a second. I was like, well, maybe,
yeah.
MVP, like, are you serious? Yeah,
right.
like he's
right.
leader and he's 30, or no, he's 20. How old is he? 37?
He's definitely up there. Yeah.
He's still got a good couple years. It's not like it's a one done thing. But so yeah, sure. But the point now though, it ain't gonna happen, right? It's not happening. However, also because of the fact that all of this stuff that's just happening, all these guys, these players that we've picked up, all this stuff it's building around Baker in the offense, right? It's building around all of that. So to go, it's not just a plug and play. You can't just do that with a lot of great players. Yeah, Tom Brady. Look, I'm shocked.
That's different.
What Tampa Bay was able to pull off, but as great as Aaron Rodgers is, Tom Brady is by far just on a whole other level of life. Okay,
he's
a plug and play guaranteed Super Bowl. LeBron James is that type of player. He's not. Aaron Rodgers is not that, but he's great. But so it's fun to think and talk about. the end of the day, and it's not going to happen. But you know, it will be interesting to see where he does land, though.
I think Rodgers now. Okay, so that's the Browns' take. So he's not coming here anyways. We all know that for all those reasons.
Do you do a just straight up trade or swap from Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers?
No.
Why?
Now I think Russell Wilson's better in his career right now. I like Russell Wilson a lot. I think the Packers, if they're really going to do this. See, that's the thing. They got that guy behind them. They got the quarterback they drafted last year behind them. If I were the Packers, I'm surprised I'm saying this. I would look to dump him.
Well, it also goes to that whole type of conversation of players wanting out of where they're playing. They're not happy. You know, that this Deshaun Watson thing is just really blown.
Wow, that's in his another face. Story. Boy, that's
right.
Story.
I mean, just everything he talked, and then here he's in a completely just shit of a situation. You know, but it goes back to that level of, you know, do the players just shut their mouths and just do what they got to do to get through? Or, you know, is it really that bad that, you know, I want to trade and they're deciding their fate? I don't know. I mean, that will forever be debated and has been debated for a long time. Aaron Rodgers is just another one now at this point that, you know, and of course that news drops right before the draft. It was all very, very calculated. You know, I view, look, I'm not in that situation. I'm not a professional football player, but I would feel like, and depending on what's really happening behind the scenes, because you never really know, but you always wish that those conversations would be being had behind closed doors of like, look, I'm not happy, so we need to figure something out. You know, Aaron Rodgers is deserving of having that conversation for sure. And saying, look, I'm not happy. This is what I want. But to leak it day of, or whatever, was it the day of the draft, or the day before?
It just was weird.
I don't like that. I don't like the games bullshit.
And by the way, that in my experience, Rodgers knew about it. It was probably I'm totally speculating. I just think
they all know they're not. That's my point. I don't like the games. I mean, look, it's fun. It's fun for us because we're like, whoa, you know, but to talk about. But at the end of the day, I mean, that would piss me off.
Yeah, the one thing I just get worried about with Rodgers, I don't want to see him going to Denver or the Raiders. I don't. I like those teams.
They're saying his fiance, I don't know if she bought something or they bought a house in Denver or Colorado or something. I don't know. You know, this goes back to those.
That would be so typical.
Crazy ass rumors.
That'd be so typical of that fucking organization to get another quarterback. I hate the Broncos for obvious reasons, but no, I mean that's the story to me to watch. Is more like where is Rodgers going to end up? Because I definitely think the AFC makes a lot of sense because on the Packers, I'm not trading him to an NFC team. I want him to get the fuck away from here. Jimmy Wetzel, real quick. Then we'll transfer to the Indians real quick. Indy line him up on the fat side of the ball every play. Non-linebackers do that. Yeah, I agreed. JOK, Jim. The one thing I liked about JOK is he was always around the football in big spots, and he brought people down. Always did. He never got bowled over. He was always there in big spots, and that's what you want. Draft ratings were way up. Not surprising. Now, last year's ratings were incredible. That's because of the pandemic, so they didn't beat last year's ratings, but that's an aberration. No one left last year, so I don't even know what to say about those draft ratings. But compared to 19 draft ratings, they were up. And again, the city of Cleveland was winners everywhere.
Clevelanders love the draft.
Oh, my
God.
Loves
the NFL draft.
Just love the draft. Literally. I mean, honestly, I think if they got them every 5-10 years, it would do just as well. And the electricity was just it's incredible. You could feel it. You really, really could feel it. All right. Are you missing Frankie Lindor yet in his 167 batting average?
No, look, Andy, I'm on the Jared Watson box score level with the Indians right now, as he does with the Cavs. There's not really much to write home about with the Indians at all.
They're winning fun. Emmanuel Clase is fun.
I know, Andy. Your excitement level.
I love it.
Your believeness. Look, I hope, Mr. Believeland, that I am I say it all the time. I love to be proven wrong. So prove me wrong. Okay. But I right now, there is, the Indians and the Cavs had to suck for the Browns to be good. And
I would not put the Cavs on that level.
I'll take it, because right now that's where I'm focused. Give me, look, not that Cavs have 5 games left.
Oh God!
Give me a good July summer baseball game, and I'll go when I don't have to wear a mask. Then I'm all for it. But and just to know what I'm getting. But it's hard to get into baseball this time of year, anyways. There's just it's tough. But no, I mean, look, we've gone on and about just the dumpster fire that they've been all season, and it's just really not much is changing. So great. I'm glad that they're on. I'm glad they're on a streak.
Well,
Andy, I'm glad they're on a streak of 3 games.
They're playing. The White Sox just lost Roberts for 4 months. The Twins stink.
Our outfield's terrible.
Have you seen Harold Ramirez? I like him.
I didn't
even know he's on our fucking roster, but he's played in 2 games. He's in the shit out of the ball. Now, let me reference this with Harold Ramirez. This is not just some who. He was actually the starting cleanup hitter in 2019 for the Marlins. Now, I don't know what happened, but he somehow ended up on the Indians roster. He played, and he looks really good. I'm actually not bullshitting. There's some real positives. Emmanuel Clase is nasty. Very, very good. J-Ram's hitting the ball. In fact, the one thing I was very worried about was Lindor leaving and J-Ram collapsing. I was wrong. I will never not believe in J-Ram again. His numbers are outstanding, and Frankie Lindor, I get calls constantly. And I'm not exaggerating. Mets fans are freaking the fuck out about Lindor.
Yeah, they are. And I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on with him. And I think, look, it's going to be an adjustment period for him, but give him time. I don't doubt for a second that he's going to bounce back. Well, it is different. It is different in New York, and the media is sure different in New York. And they got to be just roasting him.
They are chomping at the bit. I will just say this, as I learned this living in this area. He is, and I was told this by 2 Mets people today. He's lucky he's on the road in St. Louis today. Because if you're in Queens and he puts up over 5 again, oof. I'm telling you.
Maybe that's not such a bad thing for him either. I mean, I think, when you come from here, he was just this beloved, just favorite child, could do no wrong. Just loyal. It's the most loyal fans you could possibly find for him. And I think it's just been, it's going to be a big, it will continue to be, and it already has been a big wake up call, I'm sure, for him being out there. But I don't doubt, Andy, that he's going to come back. And he is certainly not going to be taking a fucking nap during the World Series in New York.
Let me just say this again. I'm not disagreeing with you, but I've seen this in New York. If I were Frankie, I would start hitting soon. Because it's going to get worse. I've seen it with Teixeira, Giambi, Jason Bay. I've seen it. Ask Robinson Cano. It gets worse.
Yeah.
And it becomes unbearable. And it's almost there already.
You're definitely closer to that with what's going on in New York than
it's suffocating. Just warning him. I would start hitting. Mets fans are already. I heard this today from one Mets fan. I don't give a fuck. He's a nice guy.
Well, Mr. Smiles doesn't do it for you. It's not, It
was so funny. He goes, I don't give a fuck. He's a nice guy. I'm like, oh God. Boy.
Learning the hard way.
Back to the Tribe. I'm seeing the doors of opening the opportunity to do things. Now, they're not through the door yet, but I'm seeing the door open. Harold Ramirez, it's only been 48 hours. I know. I'm fucking high on Harold Ramirez. I am. I like this. He's zippy. He's fun. I like this energy. Naylor's starting to hit. Franmil Reyes he's actually playing pretty good ball. J Ram is having a great year again. He's going to be an MVP voting again. Like Bieber's Bieber. He's solid. Plesac's back. Savali's having a great year. I like Clase. Karinchak bites his glove and gets guys out. Brian Shaw's pitching well. I don't think it's that crazy because the White Sox are hurt. The Twins stink. Kansas City win this fucking division. And Tigers are already rebuilding for 2023.
Look,
it's
Andy,
not crazy.
I think
not crazy.
Look, you're watching them every game. You're watching them every game, and I get it. And a lot of people, I'm not going to say that I'm completely out on the Indians forever by any means. I'm just saying right now, with a lot of shit that happened on the offseason, the lack of, I feel excitement and drive to win and that will to win from the top down is just not there right now. They very much conceded that, like, look, this is just going to be a just transition year, basically. When you don't feel that or see that, even when like the Browns were losing every single game, I think there was still this hope and kind of ray of light around it. And I know it's the Browns and they will always be the favorite child of Cleveland, but I think just everything's surrounding the Indians right now. There's just nothing to be excited about around the whole thing. And that's sad because it does suck for Bieber and for Ramirez, for those type of guys who are fantastic. And look, I think we're only 4 or 5 weeks in.
Yeah, I mean we're still in early May. I mean, right?
It's not like they were selling out the stadium every single game these past couple years, right? I mean the fandom has always been, or ticket sales of fandom, I should say, has always been lacking for many, many years.
For hundreds, and it's not new. Yes.
Outside of the 90s years, right? I mean, there's just the
ticket sales have always been shaky. Yeah.
Plus, it's just freaking cold out. It's been raining every day this week.
I know. It ain't
there. We're coming off the draft high, Andy. It's just not there right now. Like I said, get me in June, July when it's warm out, when I don't have to wear a mask. I'm vaccinated. I can sit outside or hang out at the corner and drink some beers and eat a fucking hot dog and, maybe meet someone. I don't know. Life can, so many great things can happen. All right. I'm going to put my location at the corner. So, I mean, you just don't know.
You know what we're going to do? I got an idea. You know what we're going to do? You and I are going to go to a game. Because I'm going to be in Cleveland a bunch for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
And why don't we go to a game? We'll go live on Instagram. And why don't who will we meet at the game? We'll talk about it more offline. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Andy, I'm very nervous about this.
I'm nervous already about anything. Yeah. God knows it will fucking.
We'll discuss. We'll discuss later on.
But I will be on Instagram, pumping people up after every game, counting every out. I will say I've clearly bought in. I'm ready to face plant at any moment.
You bought a 30-year mortgage in is where you're at right now.
I've got a lot of poker chips in this hand, and I'm surprised. Yeah,
I don't know what to say.
I'm ready for the Ohio Cup.
They got a bad taste in my mouth right now. It's them and the Cavs.
Well, okay. Real quickly, I'm in the Ohio Cup. I'm telling you, for people who don't watch Indians, Emmanuel Clase is a star. This Harold Ramirez is exciting. You already know the big stars on this team. Away we go. One quick note: streaming. Okay, let's go to the Cavs. I don't win in Kevin Love. Real quickly, were you surprised about that article I found that said streaming rights for Major League Baseball are way up this year? I was surprised. I was actually surprised, pleasantly surprised. I was surprised.
Yeah, it is interesting. I don't know how or why, because unless they're running a really good deal that I don't know about. I mean, because it's not like, for instance, here in Cleveland right now, there's so many. Sinclair has so many wars going on with streaming services here that you can basically just watch the Indians or the Cavs on AT&T TV. But it's not like someone in Cleveland can just go buy the MLB package and watch it. I can't do that. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Baseball's a cool, fun, young sport, Andy.
I guess so. I'm just surprised. See, you're hitting all the notes I'm thinking. I was surprised. I was really, really surprised by that article because
unless they're running a good deal that I just don't know about too. I mean, maybe they are. I don't.
Everyone's been shitting around the country on baseball. Baseball, it feels frumpy. The strike, what's going on with what happened with the All-Star game, people have made a lot of upset, on and on and on. But I was surprised. The ratings, I mean, there's a great article out there. You can read it. Streaming viewership's way up. Way up.
Yeah.
So take it for what it's worth. All right. Our sad sack, Kevin Love. Wants to go to Portland. Doesn't like inbounds passes. Okay, now to the reverse side of this stuff. I have been the biggest Kevin Love apologist you'll ever see. I am now ready to declare, for his mental health and for our mental health, it is time to say goodbye to Kevin Love. They need to buy him out this offseason. They need to gift wrap him to any team and let's let him sign. They need to get to the table. He's going to lose some money, but he's going to gain some money. Holly, they have got to move on from Kevin Love. I am there. It's an albatross now. It's an eyesore. I'm done. I will not defend this anymore.
We still owe him $60 million.
I don't know what to say.
Cheers.
I don't, Holly. It is so apparent to me. You retweeted it, so I got it from you. When I heard that comment from the podcast, I officially okay, I'm hitting the buzzer. That's ridiculous.
Well, I don't understand the whole concept behind that whole thing. For what? And I said in my tweet, it doesn't bother me when people say I'm going to play for my hometown eventually or whatever. But you just came off a terrible stint of, I should say stint or stunt, whatever you want to call it. Just that
didn't give a shit. Didn't give a shit.
Didn't go talk to the media after. I get that he went and talked to the team and apologized after.
That was a weird.
Well, then he came back and he said Cleveland till I die, and then a week later you're doing it. No, but he did it. Then a week later he's on a podcast saying. So you can't. Well, no one's buying it, right? It's at this point,
it's fake.
Stop trying to put on this show. And what drives me crazy about the Cavs is that the Anderson Varejao thing, that's great for him. I'm glad he's been able to retire as a Cav.
Sure.
But it's no, but I don't really give a shit. I really don't. And I know
by the way, I don't either.
I don't care. And you know what I care about?
I'm happy for Andy, but
yeah, if you're going to be putting a winning product on the damn court, and on top of that, not tolerating the baby attitude that he serves up. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And look, they say that he didn't get fined or whatever because it wasn't something that oh God, what did they say? It wasn't a typical something they get fined for on the court in that sense. It wasn't against a player or a coach or something that happened like that. It was just the way that he acted on the court. But I don't give a shit. They should have set some type of example with him, and they didn't. And it looks really bad when you see what's his face? Why am I just totally blanking right now in Houston?
Oh, Kevin Porter.
Thank you. Yeah. Dropping 50 points, right? Which, look,
playing
I think
really
that's only going to happen. That's not only going to last for so long. I think the Cavs made the right move in that sense.
They made the right move there, yeah.
But again, okay, so I'm not saying kick Kevin Love off the team, but set some type of example about it and acknowledge it. And yeah, do we trade him? What are we going to get for him right now? The best thing that he could possibly do is to play as well as he can to get his ass out of here. But he doesn't even want to do that. I just think I feel like he has no real interest, obviously, in being here, but the basketball interest, I think, is just completely
it's just gone.
Kind of lacked.
They're going to have to buy him out. They're going
to have to buy him out. Look, and it's possible, but it's going to kill us. Look, they did it for Blake Griffin in Detroit, but we can't really give up draft capital for him. And it goes back and forth too because he can be. I think what's so frustrating with him is that we know what he can be. We've seen it. We've felt it. The presence he can be, what he could do for these young guys. And he's just not, he just doesn't want to do it. And that's worse. So then just sit him.
Yeah, you took my line. Why don't we just do the Andre Drummond and say, you know what?
And sit him.
Just sit him. I got to be honest with you. I'm surprised I'm here with him when I heard those comments from the Chris Hayes podcast, I was like, for people who haven't listened, you can Google it. You can go to Twitter. You can find it. It was pretty alarming. And his timing was way off.
Poor taste, bad timing, just stupid.
Just.
Thank you for 2016, but
wonderful
goodbye.
Player. Come back for reunions. Can't wait to see you. But this is just
why don't you come back in 4 years and get a 10-day contract?
Yeah,
why
seriously.
not? Because that's what the Cavs are. That's where the Cavs' focus is fucking Anderson Varejao and not what is on the court. And I know I'm swearing a lot tonight, even though I swear a lot, but this drives me crazy. I hate that. We're not idiots. I don't like when fans are treated like we're dumb. And that's what it feels like with the Cavs. And
his out of bounds play was just as bad. And I thought his apology was wonky and weird. I thought everything was weird. Everything was weird. I love the Cavs. I'm watching them. Truthfully, folks, there's nothing to watch. Everyone's hurt. Sexton's playing. Jared Allen's playing. Those are guys you're going to see next year.
Yeah, and look, I will be fair, Andy. They have had just plagued with injuries. They have had many issues. And so I know I'm going hard on them. It's mostly just about Kevin Love, and it's that situation. But they got a lot of other things clearly going on. But they did have a lot of hurdles. I'm not going to take that. I won't take that away from them. So I'll end on a positive.
Well, we'll go into next week about what to do. I do want to get into more, but for time purposes, we'll save it. But we'll both. I mean, you heard the gabble here. I mean, we both agree. You got to fix Kevin Love, and fixing his means it's time to get his exit plan in place.
Yep.
It's time. Were you surprised about how bad the Oscars did and how much they've fallen off? It's the first year I'm 41 years of age. Holly's a 23-year-old, and I don't ever remember the last time.
Nice.
Sorry, 24. But it's the last time I can ever remember the Oscars just falling off the planet of uninteresting. It was so weird. I don't even remember the films that were mentioned, or Holly. I've
never the whole Oscar films every year. I never hear.
No, I'm not either. But it's so much noise. You just can't help. Like, there's always a day. One day I'm like, let me just see who's up for Best Picture and Best Actress and Best Actor. I didn't do any of that. Nothing. Ratings were terrible.
Ratings were terrible. Look, there's been a lot of politics that have been surrounding the Oscars these past couple of years. It's really turned a lot of people off. Again, it goes back to that debate, I think, of entertainment and politics and that very, very fine line of where people go to escape. And when that line's crossed, it doesn't become that type of sanctuary for the viewer. And then also, that COVID certainly didn't help anything. I mean,
no, did not.
You got people dressed up in their living rooms. It's just weird. So I just, at this point, then just don't even have any type of ceremony and give out the awards. You know what I mean?
It just was a mess. The ratings were horrible.
Yeah, and it's not about. Again, in my personal opinion, it has not become about really what that movie is about, or there's just so many politics now around who's winning and who's not and who's nominated that it's not. You don't really know what to. I don't really know what to believe anymore.
Yeah,
it's not worth
that's
watching.
A great point. You hit it. It's lost its charm.
Yeah.
The Oscars need to find and it's for
and I'm a big
reasons.
Awards season person. I love the Golden Globes.
Yeah.
I love to see what they wear. Like, you can't even ask a woman what she's wearing anymore because she gets I enjoy that. That's me though. I like to know who they're wearing.
There's no Melissa Rivers. There's none of this stuff.
You can't lie. That's me.
I look, one little hint about me. I loved, and God bless her soul, I really miss her. She's been dead for a while. I loved Joan Rivers. I love when Joan, she was a gem. For people who don't know her, too young.
Super crass,
I wish I had a chance to interview her at some point. I loved Joan Rivers. Loved her. Loved watching her on with her daughter. I love that whole dynamic. I loved how they're very raw and fair. Anyways, to what Holly said, it was all the ambiance. And if you don't have ambiance and your award's not taken seriously by some of the public, I don't know what you have. And the ratings demonstrated that.
Yeah. They did. It's definitely taken a nosedive. And look, do I think Oscars will come back eventually? Yes, I do.
Of course, but they have some fixing to do.
They have a lot of fixing to do. Yep, for sure.
I guess my final note on this is like, you can only do so much and, think like, oh, well, we're just going to roll out the red carpet and everybody's going to watch. Boy, I didn't even know what was on.
Yeah, I know. Usually there's a lot of publicity leading up to it. And there really wasn't this year.
No.
I didn't know about it until the night before.
No. Kevin Atkins, real quick, then as I got to run, I know as I got to pick up a kid at lacrosse. Coming next year, right? We're going to do, I said this on the official Cleveland Sports page. We'll do it on here. We're going to do a fake lottery ball draft and just pick things out of plastic gloves and just we got a hamster wheel. We'll do all sorts of fake things. Wetzel, it's been a great show today. It was great seeing you in person. We had such a fun time together. We're going to do that more next time. You got to buy into the Indians. You really do. I'm telling you. Got to. Get that Harold.
And everyone else.
The Ohio Cup's thrilling. It's coming back to Cleveland this week. Got to beat those Reds. They're very good. I can tell by Holly's face she had so much ideas about the Ohio Cup this week.
Say hi to Tyler Naquin for me.
Oh. Jam. Holly Wetzel there. I'm Andy Billman here. Have a great Cinco de Mayo. Next week we'll break down Kevin Love. Favorite things to do in May. And then Holly will eventually watch the Indians. Or
see you in July. Well, I watch the Indians or the Oscars first. Go.
Oh my God. And for that cliffhanger, we say good night.